Hey everybody, this is Jim the Tabletop Engineer and welcome to a new video. I'm gonna call this a daily, no, not daily. We'll call this the weekly dose of crazy. I figure I get a lot of people asking me, what are you currently working on? It's funny, I'll get emails, I'll get Facebook messages. People are like, what projects are you working on? What are you printing? What are you cutting with your laser? What are you doing? And I guess people are really interested in that. I think it's funny because I understand. I always ask my wife about her day, and she's like, why do you ask me? You know, every day I ask her, how was your day? What happened exciting or whatever? And I think it's because I don't work in her line of work, and I find it fascinating. I find it interesting what she has to do during the day. So I get it. And then when I think about it, I'm like, well, what I do is kind of dull, but then I thought to myself, no, people were asking me, so hey, you know what? I can't do it daily, but I was thinking weekly that I would crack a new video, and maybe take you on a little wandering tour of what's going on. So what am I doing today? Well, let's start right here. Right now, I am making two. This one's taped up. The glue is drying. This is a magnetic. Well, the magnets aren't. The magnets are on here. I got to glue this. There's two magnets. All right. So I glue three because in geometry, as my 14-year-old son is learning right now, and he missed this on a quiz, how many points are required to make a plane? Plane, like a flat plane. 3. 1, 2, 3 magnets, and this piece, when glued onto those magnets, will form a flat plate. So what is this? This is a card and token holder for a game that I play called Marvel Champions. I play it every week with a group of friends, and I originally made one of these because when you're playing a 4-person game, most of the time we were laying the cards. The bad guy, you play a good guy, a hero in the Marvel universe, and the bad guy who you're fighting, or bad guys, the cards were being laid flat, and you put tokens on it to represent the threats and the schemes that they're doing. And so when you're playing a four-person game, cooperative, you know, you're always like, how many schemes are on that, or how many threats, and what's his attack and things. And so out of necessity, I just designed this real quick and started bringing it to the game. All my fellow players loved it, so I ended up making 5 or 6. Actually, now I've made like 10 of them, and give them to my friends, because with this you can play solo, because that's really all you need is just this top tray. But when you play a 3 or 4 person game, there's more cards, and so I made it a double level so that you can break it like this. So this is what I'm working on today. I've got an order for 3 of these, and I've got 1 ready to go, 2 ready to go, and the 3rd one is being glued up out of camera range. So what else am I doing? Well, today I am playing another game of Violent Dark by Blacksite Studio. This is the game. Think Alien, Nostromo crew, right? Truckers in space, or space truckers, or whatever. So in the game, the premise is that you are in cryosleep on a long haul ship. It could be a corporate ship, a military ship, a colony ship, doesn't matter. You come up with your own story. But at some point, there's a problem, and the AI in charge of the ship, or in control of the ship, will wake up crew members that it deems are useful to the mission. Okay? And so it's usually like a 3 or 4 miniature game. You play the good guys. And so, and then the bad guys they can be aliens, they can be corporates, they can be AIs, they can be robots, what have you. And it's a really neat game, and I'm really looking forward to releasing some videos of this. I'm sort of building up the videos right now. But yeah, I'm going to be playing a game of that today here and filming it. So what else am I doing? Well, let me get the camera. All right, what you're looking at here is a bunch of holes. These are 3x3 trays. You can see that they have a little indentation in the bottom there, and this is this is where I call myself a glutton for punishment, because I come up on these projects and I get started and I keep my 3D printer, which is right there. I keep my 3D printer running just like 24/7. It's printing more of these. I print 2 at a time during the day, and at night I print 4 at a time because it'll take about 8 hours. And when I wake up the next morning, I've got 4. So you can see I'm almost done. This is a near 2x2 size. It's not exactly 2 feet by 2 feet. It's a little over on each end, but it's close enough that I can work with it. So what this is from I don't know if it's a company name or a group or whatever, but it's called Dungeon Blocks. They originally released this for fantasy, and now they've got a set called Infinite Spaceship or Infinite Starship that is a sci-fi version. And basically what you do is you print these little blocks, and I have some right here. Let me show you. So these are test ones I did. These are Dungeon Blocks, and what they are is they're individually printed little blocks, and you paint them up or not, and you can see the bottom here, Dungeon Blocks. And what they do is they drop in like that. And you can, here's a little 2x2 I made. You can orient them, how you want them. So I could make a room here with, let's see, a hallway, right? There's a hallway. I could block it in. Well, I didn't print a 2-way one, but here's a doorway or a corridor. You get the idea. And so I say I'm a glutton for punishment because after I get, let's see, there's 36 of these. It's 6x6 of these 3x3s. After I get 36 of those created, you do the math. It's 3 times 6 is 18, 18 times 18. 18 times 18 of these to print, just for a 2x2. Now, granted, I don't have to fill in every hole. There are flat plates that can be inserted to cover, areas that aren't being used. But I figure a 2 foot by 2 foot area is a good place to start. I'm doing this for the Infinite Spaceship because I want to have the ability to create a random or just a unique interior of a starship. And I'll put a link in the video description below so you can go check it out. They've got 100, I don't know how many blocks. They've got cryo chambers. They've got bridge panels. They've got engine rooms. They've got vents, doors, walls, acid-eaten walls, xenomorph covered. I mean, it's crazy how many things they have developed for this. They've already got the dungeon one. They've already had 2 Kickstarters, so there's probably 200. I'm guessing. I don't know. Maybe 200 different tile types, and so once I finish this, I'll be able to use it for dungeons and spaceship. So what I've done is, this is more for when I go to conventions. I guess I could use this in my home games. But for conventions, I want to be able to take this portable and take the blocks in a Tupperware or something and then quickly set it up. So underneath here, you'll see a piece of wood. I cut out a 2 foot by 2 foot piece of wood. And like I said, there's a little bit of hangover here. It's not quite, you can't get 2 feet. The dimensions of these don't equal 2 feet by 2 feet when you do a 6x6. And a 5x5 is too small. So I'm going to glue these down once I get them all done. And that will be a 2 foot by 2 foot section. Now, if I want to take this to a 3 foot by 3 foot, I've already thought about it. What I would do is I'm going to cut a L-shape piece that will go around this, and it will add just enough blocks to the left and up at the top to turn it into a 3x3. And then because it's separate, I can use it as a 2x2 or a 3x3, and that will be that. Now, considering that it takes about an hour to 2 hours to print these, depending on the level of quality you want and the detail work on them, you can tell I've got a long way to go. So I'm not anywhere close to finishing this project, but it will get finished at some point. Like I said, I'm running my 3D printer near 24/7, and I'll keep doing that. But I've got to figure out, what I want to print, and I'm going to do the spaceship first, and then I'll probably come back and do the dungeon, because I do have a lot of dungeon tiles and fantasy tiles, but I don't have a lot of sci-fi stuff. So that's another project. Let me pause the camera and let me go show you something else. So this is my Bambu P1P. Now Bambu right now is involved in a lawsuit. Stratasys is suing them, and I'm hoping that they can come to a resolution and that Bambu doesn't get shut down, because in my opinion, I've had 6 different name brands of 3D printer, Bambu being one of those 6. And of the 6, this is by far the best 3D printer I have ever owned. And that's saying a lot, because I really liked the Creality Ender 3, and I also liked my Prusa Mark 3, I think it was. Those were great printers. But look at the speed of this thing. I mean, this is real time. This is not, and this is at normal speed. This thing has 2 faster speeds I can do. One's called, I think, fast, and the other one's called ludicrous. Ludicrous is insane. This thing is moving so fast, you think it can't be doing a good job. But what's interesting about the technology they developed, apparently in here there is some sort of either mechanical or digital pendulum, a pendulum, right, that somehow keeps it balanced, because, as you know, it's moving so fast. In older printers, if you had a real fast print job, you would get like weird angle, you know, things would like start to slide one way or the other. This does not happen. This thing can move as fast as you can choose it to, and because of that interior pendulum, it does not affect the quality. And like I said, it's fast. I mean, this is, I did a test on an Ender 3 of one of these, and it was the 2x2 one. I did it on an Ender 3 before I donated the Ender 3 to my son's school. And just the 2x2 took like, I don't know, 3.5 hours. And I could print 2 of these, 2 3x3s in about 4 hours. So definitely thumbs up on the Bambu P1P. Heated bed, it has the self-balancing, you know, it tests the flatness of this before every print, and it's just really amazing. And this is a magnetic plate, so when it's done, you take this and pop it off, and you pop the metal, and the plastic just pops right off. So that's the P1P, and as you can see, I am running it right now. The last thing I'll share, well, last 2 things I'll share with you today. This is my 2D6, not 2D6, sorry. I play 2D6 Dungeon and 4 Against Darkness. This is my 4 Against Darkness game board. I just finished a level called 4 Against the Abyss. This was the first dungeon I ran. Today I'm going to be playing, at least trying to video 4 episodes of this. I tend to shoot them one right after the other because my brain is wired for the game. The rules are fresh in my memory. I don't have to remember where was I, what room was I in, where, you know. So I do them all in a row. So today I'm going to be playing at least 4 30-minute sessions of this and recording them, not editing them, but that comes at a separate day. But just so you know, I tend to play about 2 hours to 3 hours of games per day for the channel, videoing them. And I got this board because I'm getting ready to play one game today of 5 Parsecs. The 5 Parsecs is my new, well, this is 5 Parsecs Bug Hunt. I'm going to be playing 5 Parsecs, the original 5 Parsecs from home, and I've got that board out because I've got to get one game in either today or tomorrow, get that done. Those take longer, so I tend to schedule those on certain days. And then the next thing I want to do today is test this game. I've got to break it open and inventory everything. I backed this on Kickstarter a long time ago because a friend recommended it. Apparently my friend had the version 1.0. This is version 2. They ran a Kickstarter. It's called Dark Venture, and it has this really wild psychedelic fluorescent color. It's a sci-fi, believe it or not, but it's a card game. It's tokens. It's got exploration. It's hard to explain. The quality of it, I don't know if you can see this, but these are the tracker tiles, and these have indented spaces, kind of like I leave on my boards. These are for tokens, so they won't, you know, slide off the board. But Today what I'm going to be doing is inventorying the game, watching a few playthrough videos, reading the actual rulebook myself, and then playing a test game before I ever do any filming. So that's how I find new games. And I went and did the all-in because it just sounded too cool. And when a friend of mine told me about it, I was like, okay, it was a no-brainer for me. This right here is a cassette, an old 80s, 90s style cassette of background music. I don't even have a cassette player, so I don't know how I'm going to play that. I'm hoping maybe that there is a digital version online that if you can prove you bought the cassette version. This was an add-on, or I think it came with the game. I don't think I would have bought this by itself. I think it just came with the tier I did. And then, of course, there are monster expansions, and then there are bigger scenario type expansions, 2 of them. Crag Pit Arena and Vile Invaders. So lots of game opportunities here. Again, this is the 2nd edition, and I'll put a link to this in the video description below if you want to check it out. All right, let me put the camera back up and I'll wrap up this video. Well, I was wrong. Before I wrap up the video, I wanted to show you my baby. This is my Thunder Laser. Now, yes, it's big, and the joke between my wife and I is that this is my casket. It's already prepaid and ready to go. So when I die, bury me in my Thunder. The real joke is this thing's 900 pounds. It's not going anywhere. If we ever sell this house, which we probably will, the new owners get a free laser. So if you're interested in a laser as an add-on to a house purchase, let me know. No, seriously, this is my industrial laser. I started with what's called a Glowforge. If you're not familiar with lasers, Glowforge was kind of the original home hobbyist laser. It was sort of like, can we make a laser cheap enough and safe enough for the home hobbyist? Well, in a previous life, I was a technical writer, and the publisher I worked for they reimbursed me for the purchase of the Glowforge, so I didn't have to buy it myself. They reimbursed me, so I kickstarted. I backed it in the Kickstarter. Like a year and a half later, it was shipped to me. It was a big risk, but it was worth it. The publisher wanted me to write a book on how to use the device and how to use it for like a hobbyist and stuff like that. But ultimately what happened was they changed their mind. They felt that the $2,000 price of the Glowforge was just not going to, it wasn't going to generate a lot of sales for Glowforge, which they ended up being wrong about that. The Glowforge was probably one of the highest selling, and it still sells. Lots of people buy Glowforges, and what happens is they grow out of it, which is what I did. It was too slow. It was perfect. It allowed me to start my laser business, but it was slow. And it also connected through the cloud to the Glowforge servers. So if the Glowforge servers were ever down or the internet was down, I couldn't run my laser. So at one point, my laser business became profitable enough that I was able to invest in an industrial laser, and my business really took off. And just so you know, I was able to pay this off in 3 months. 3 months of laser work. So if you have questions about it, post them in the comments below. I may do a video at some point in the future that explains, lasers and how you design and how you run them and stuff like that. They're all different. Every laser has sort of its own way of operating, but most of them use a piece of software called Lightburn. And Lightburn is a sort of an industry standard. It's what I use to communicate to the Thunder, but that's a whole other video. So before I forget, I'll be running this today. I'm not running it now because it's not loud, but I vent it out the window, and when the vent is running, the fan is running, it's kind of obnoxious and loud. So not gonna run it. And if you see that big orange ball right there, give you 2 seconds to guess what that is. Nope, you're probably wrong. Well, I don't know what you did. What that is it's called a fire suppressant foam ball. It is fire suppressant inside a foam sphere. And I've never, knock on wood, I have never had any issues with fire or flame ups. But sometimes when you're running a laser, I cut wood. Wood does not flare up easy. Paper and cardboard, which can, and I don't cut paper and cardboard. But I keep that on top there because what happens is if there's ever a fire in the vicinity of this, it will melt the foam, all right? And then at some point, the thing goes poof, and fire suppressant powder covers everything in the vicinity. And I've seen videos of it, and it works. So I keep one near my laser as a safety precaution, along with a real fire extinguisher and another fire extinguisher. You never, ever, ever leave a laser unattended. Mine has a pause button. If I need to go to the restroom, answer the doorbell, whatever, I can pause it. But you never, ever walk away from a laser while it's running. Even if you're 100% comfortable like I am, that it's fine and you've never had any flare-ups, that one time you walk away, that could be the time. So safety, important safety tip. All right, so there is a day in the life of the tabletop engineer. Laser, 3D printing, assembling, gameplay. I don't know if I'll get to Violent Dark today because I've got to get. I don't have to. The way I record my game videos is I record them well in advance. So if you're watching a game today on the Tabletop Engineer Plays, I probably videoed that 3 weeks ago, 2 months ago. Some of my videos I've got months, like 8 or more, one per week. I've got 8 or more videos in the queue. Some games I don't. 4 Against Darkness, I don't have many in the queue. I think I have 2 or 3. So I want to build that up. I've already got some of Violent Dark, and I've already got some of Stargrave and 5 Parsecs. So yeah, I don't like to get down to like 1 or 2. That is not happening because I've learned over the years when I've done videos is you can't predict what life is going to throw your way. You got a sick kid or your car's in the shop or whatever. There's always things that I can't predict that mess my day up. And so what I've learned is bank videos. Bank them, bank them, bank them. And then when those speed bumps hit you, you don't have to sweat that day. If I need to take a day off for sanity reasons or whatever, I can do it and I don't have to worry. But I enjoy working in my workshop. I am very blessed, very lucky that I have the ability to do things that I love and get paid for them. And I'm really talking about my laser. I don't make a whole lot of money from the game stuff, but the laser allows me to take my hobby, and I told you I was a technical writer in a previous life. My instinct is always to document anything I do. When the first time I made one of these, I documented it, not on video, but I documented it, in paper. And if I ever lost the files on my computer or whatever, I've got notebooks where I could go back and get the dimensions and the instructions for how I did it. Not something like this. This is pretty easy, but there are some more complex things. So I'm very lucky, and I'm grateful to you, my subscriber, my patron, my viewers, because you give me feedback. You tell me what you don't like. You tell me what you do like. You correct my errors. You basically make it enjoyable to make gaming videos, whether they're 3D printing or playing games or what have you. I never have a day that's the same as the last, and I'm grateful for that. And I want to add finally that I have always been a pay it forward person. Always been a pay it forward person. I have always told my community, my friends or whatever, if you have questions about anything I do, just ask, and I'll do my best to answer. I have had requests to do a video on how to design stuff for lasering, and I'm going to do that. I've had videos, I've had people ask me to do video on creating a zine, which is that's another thing I do. I create zines for the games I play. And so pay it forward means to you, my viewers, that I make myself available. Now, I have a jobs, I've got to get work done, but I want to be able to help my subscribers, my viewers, my patrons, if they're looking at getting into a lasering business, or if they want to start writing a zine, or if they want to start a YouTube channel, I will tell you, I am not an expert on any of these. I'm a jack of all trades. I think that should be apparent. Master of none, but I will always share my knowledge, what little there is. I will always share my knowledge with my viewers and subscribers and patrons. I got to just come up with a word that my audience. Let's do that. My audience. So ask away, and if I can help, I will certainly do so. I may point you to a video. I may point you to a book, or I may just make a video at some point to answer questions. We'll see. All right, that's all I got. I got to get to work. I've got to fire up the laser, and I've got some lasering to do, and I got some games to play. So thanks for joining me. I'll try to do this maybe once a week. I'll call it my weekly dose of crazy, and share it with you. If people don't like it, I'll stop doing it. I'm a documenter. I document everything I do, and I've had enough people ask me to sort of show them what I'm working on, so hopefully this video will suffice. All right, that's all I got. This is Jim the Tabletop Engineer. Thanks for joining me. I'll be back next week with another weekly dose of crazy. Until then, everybody, take care.
Check out the new RPG and Wargame newsletter. Each week, the Tabletop Engineer shares news, products, Kickstarters, and much more related to the gaming hobby. It's free to subscribe, so check out the link in the video description below to sign up.